Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I know it's gonna be okay. Yeah, I appreciate though the kind words. Thanks. God, you're there for me, Alf. You've always been there for me. Oh, shit. Look, the guys are here. It's time to go away. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Alf. Till later. You guys weren't supposed to see that. Anyway, welcome to the Tonto's Demise Week 3 recap. Singing the 0-3 blues, I guess. This week, another interesting week. Unfortunately, injuries all over the place. Not many high scores. Only one team went over 200. That was Biscuits and Porn, jumping him all the way up to 4th place. Yeah, nobody else really took off. This was kind of a boring week for the most part. It said Jim's team, everybody scored like 20 to 25 points and up and down his lineup. And yeah, the standings didn't change too well. We had all those, said pretty much, we had 10 1-1 teams last week. Now we have 5 2-1s, 5 2-2, 5 1-2s, and a 3-0 at the top, and an 0-3 at the bottom. So, let's just get right into it. Quiet, Alf. Alright, this year, we start with the defending champion, Shawshank Athletics. He was going up against Disco, and he gets the victory this week, 167.25 to 114.5 for Disco. And that means, Disco, you are joining the Taupes and Biscuits in the being eliminated from the knockout pool. 114.5. Excuse me. Shawshank Athletics. Rolling the dice this week. He's got, who does he have? Mac Jones on the bench. He rolled the dice and played Herbert, even though he's got some injured ribs there. And let's see, I actually got 40 points from Herbert, not too bad, but only 10 points against Jacksonville in a home game. Kind of surprised that they got beat that bad. His receivers, Chase, Juju, and A-Rob, 12.5, 14, and 4.5 respectively. Derrick Henry, 85 yards and a touchdown, 25 points for him. Brees gets 15, Pitts gets 13.5. Tyler Lockett in the flex, 16.5. Suck Up goes for about 8.5. And the Rams defense looks like they got you. Yahoo says 8. Bumped you up, looks like about 17 maybe. About 9 points probably. But yeah, 167, not a great score, but enough to get past Disco this week. As his woes continue with Russell Wilson going for 31 points. His receivers, Scary Terry, Jerry Jeudy, and Burks. Starting is his name Treylon Burks. Times, I don't know, Disco, times are tough. Perhaps when you're starting Treylon Burks and you've got McKenzie on the bench there. Let's see. Scary Terry, 16, Jeudy, 3.5, and Burks, 3. Jonathan Taylor, another quiet game from him, only 12 points. Mixon, 7, just under 7. Let's see, most of his stats came from a couple catches and a little bit of yards, not much yards there. Waller the Baller, only 5 points this week. Uncle Lenny, only 12. McPherson, about 8.5. And the San Francisco defense actually ended up losing to Denver. Yahoo says 10. Actual score must have been about 16, maybe 13 or 16. But yeah, only 114. A lot of single-digit scores there. Only 30 from your quarterback. Not going to get it done. Unfortunately, Disco, you dropped to 1-2. You are currently in 11th place. And Shawshank Athletics dropped to, move up to 2-1, and he is in 6th place. All right. We talked about Biscuits and Porn having the highest score this week, 237.95. And that was enough to squash Huber Squash, maybe, perhaps. Saquon, it ain't so. Jason J. Huber, 178.85. For Biscuits, going against his keeper, Tom Brady, again this week, turned out to be an okay decision, even though Brady actually outscored Stafford by 18 points. Didn't cost you in this one because, like I said, everybody else on your roster went off this week. 30.5 for Stafford. CD goes for 22.5. Devontae Smith, 34. Olav, 23.5. Eckler, 13.5. Still, your weak link is Austin Eckler. Who would have guessed that? I don't think he's scored a touchdown yet. Cordarrelle Patterson, I saw him referred to on TV as Score-Darrell Patterson. He scored a touchdown this week, got you 25. Mark Andrews, 2 touchdowns, goes for 29. Singletary in the flex, 24. So lots of 20 scores here. Your kicker, York, goes for 4.5 maybe. And then the Bengals defense, Yahoo says 22. Looks like we bumped you up to about 31. I want to say 31. Scores usually are, said what we bump up the defense is it's usually 3, 6, 9, 12, a multiple of 3 for the most part there. So looks like it was probably 31 for your defense there. But yeah, way more than enough. It's the only team over 200 this week to get past Saquon, who has Burrow, go for 49. A.J. Brown, 19.5. Tyler Boyd, 20.5. Kirk, 19. Kareem Hunt and Alvin Kamara, 9 and 7. Freiermuth goes for 6. Kittle goes for 7. Tucker goes for 8.5. And your Eagles defense goes for, Yahoo says, 21. Your score is bumped up about 12. I'm going to guess 9 maybe from your defense. So probably 30, maybe 33 from your defense there. Said solid quarterback score, solid D score, but said a lot of single-digit scores in the middle there, and just wasn't enough this week to get past Biscuits, who had pretty much everybody up and down his lineup scoring in at least in the 20s there. So not much you can do about that. Saquon, you dropped to 1-2. You're in 8th place, while Biscuits moves up to 2-1. He is now in 4th place. All right, the matchup, I believe this was the only one. No, Detling's matchup did too. Come down to Monday night. Possum Magic versus Darkwing Jet came down to Monday night as Possum had the Dallas Cowboys defense and was trailing. I don't have the scores written down here. What did they score? About 20. Looks like about 20. So you were down about 15 to 17 points, I think, going into that. So you needed it from your Dallas Cowboys defense. They were able to get it for you. 5 sacks, a turnover. They won the game. Didn't give up a whole lot of points. Looks like we bumped you up from 17 to maybe 23. So it was enough to get a 6-point victory over Darkwing. 153.9 for Possum. 147.8 for Darkwing Jet. All right, Possum. Hertz goes for 56. Cooks 4. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has been on a tear. Looks like he's got a Q next to his name now. Some injury problems for him. We'll see what happens going forward there. 13.3. Pittman, 15. Aaron Jones, only 5.5. Josh Jacobs, 14.5. Hurst, your tight end, since you ditched Cole Kmet, I believe, he gets 1 for 7 yards, so 1.3. So in 3 weeks, Possum Magic has gotten 1.7 points. He's averaging, what is that, 0.6, 0.55 points a week from the tight end position, thanks to those 2 donuts from Komet. And Hurst gets 1.7 this week. Sorry, you can't help but laugh, right? Tree, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anybody. So things will turn around for you. I'm sure it can't get any. It cannot get worse. You go to the bottom. You got to go to the bottom before you start climbing your way back up. So Pierce in the flex goes for 18. Your kicker Joseph made 4 PATs but missed 2 field goals. Gets you 2 points. Fortunately, that didn't cost you the victory. And again, Dallas Cowboys defense sealed it for you on Monday night with a 23-point performance. But yeah, said a lot of several single-digit scores here. Nobody really took off, but for Possum Magic, his buns were enough to get past Darkwing Jut, who has Tua this week. If he had started Goff, he would have gotten the victory. Not sure I've ever seen volatility like Tua has been giving this week so far this year, the first 3 weeks. Just taking a look here, 40 points in week 1, 82 points in week 2, and then 26 this week. So it'll be interesting to see what Justin decides to do going forward. He's got Tua with some injury problems, as you guys probably also know. They seem to, Miami seems to claim that his injuries were not a concussion, a head injury, but a back injury, which is what caused him to be fall down or whatever he did during the game there. And they thought, oh, he's concussed, he can't stand up straight. I don't know if it was just his back hurt that bad, apparently. That's what they're saying. So we'll see if Justin decides to stick with Tua and that crazy volatility, or go with the potential that comes with that. Or he got Goff, got rid of Trey Lance since he is done for the year, and now Goff is your backup quarterback. He put up 41 points this week. Probably going to be a steady 40-point guy this year, maybe a little bit more sometimes. So will Justin choose the steady hand of Goff, perhaps? Looks like the Lions are going to be a little bit better, offensively at least, than people thought they were, at least so far this year. Although Amon-Ra and Swift are both hurt right now, so we'll see what happens there. For Justin, what else do he have? Tua, so we talked about Tua. And then with that volatility, Tyreek this week only goes for 5 instead of 50 that he did last week. Let's see, Mike Williams, only 8.5. Only 1 catch for him, but it was a touchdown. Hollywood Brown, star here, he goes for 14 catches, 140 yards, and then even 28 points. Chubb, a touchdown, over 100 yards, 20.5. Connor, 8.5. Godert, 11.5. Bateman, 6 in the flex. Gay in the kicker there, looks like 8 or looks like about 9 or so. And then the Cleveland Browns defense, even though you got that gift 9 points in the last second there, the touchdown and the fumble recovery wasn't enough. Let's see, Yahoo says 16. Looks like you got about another 9 points, so about 25 from your defense there. But yeah, your defense and your quarterback pretty much scored the same as Possum's quarterback by himself. And despite the 28 and a 20 from Brown and Chubb, it was not enough to get past Possum Magic this week, who squeaks out the victory on Monday night. Possum, he moves up to 2-1, and Darkwing drops to 1-2. Possum in 5th place, Darkwing Jut in 7th place. All right, we did that. Dub C Hooligans versus Hillbillies on PCP. Dub C gets the victory this week, 178.5 to 150.85 for the Hillbillies. Let's take a look at Dub C. Another big week this week from Lamar Jackson. He goes for 61.5 points. Justin Jefferson, only 4.5. Not sure what's going on there. Debo, 13. A bunch of rushing attempts again this week. I'm not sure what they're trying. They're trying to get Debo killed out there. Didn't they learn anything from last year? Their regular running backs can't stay healthy, and you got Debo out there running like a running back. He's a big guy, but still, they're really playing with fire every time. Every time I see Debo, even though he's not on my team, watching him get those handoffs and running like a running back and getting tackled hard over and over again, twisted up, gang tackled, like that can't be. He's not a running back. He's not built for that, and they're really playing with fire. I think the way that they treat him there in terms of keeping him healthy for the rest of the season there. But that's just my opinion. So Debo goes for 13. Lazard catches a touchdown, 14.5. McCaffrey, 16.5. Not really utilizing his full potential in Carolina there. The receiving threat that he is, he only had 2 catches this week. Not sure if Mayfield just doesn't like throwing to the running backs or what it is, but he definitely has been underutilized so far this year, I would say. Javonte, only 9. Everett, 4.5. Robinson in the flex, talked about him last week. He goes off again, 100 yards and a touchdown, 23.5 points. Koo, your kicker, goes for about 13. And the Tampa Bay defense, Yahoo says 13. Looks like we bumped you up to about 19 there. 178.5 was enough to get past. So a lot of teams in this 150 ballpark here. Said Topes had 149, Darkwing 147, Possum 153, Hillbillies 150, Ed 158. So a lot of teams. Josh 167, Gags 161. So a lot of teams' scores were in the same ballpark here. Scores that very often could go basically a coin flip whether or not you're going to win. But offense has been there's been a couple games, specific games where things have gotten crazy, but for the most part across the league, it's been a fairly quiet start. I don't know if it's just because my guess would be that they don't play really in the preseason anymore, so everybody rests all their starters because they don't want to get hurt now, and it seems like a lot of guys are just rusty, especially on offense so far this year. And just not any like wild games back and forth. So even like these night games, the Broncos 49ers game, that was kind of boring. Even last night, the Cowboys Giants game was kind of boring until the fourth quarter there, and it started to go back and forth a little bit. But yeah, so it's just been like now. I was really looking forward to watching that Tampa Bay Green Bay game, and that game was boring. Like nothing was happening, and the final score was 14-12. So yeah, not much really going. Teams kind of figuring things out yet so far this year. A lot of times, seems like offenses come out playing hot at the beginning of the year, and then defenses kind of get things squared away. Seems for some reason this year, seems like it's been backwards. The offenses have been. I don't know if it's just a lot of premier players changing teams or what it is this year, and a lot of changes. I don't know, but just the offenses don't seem to be playing up to their full potential yet. So we'll see what happens. It's like defenses are starting the opposite of what usually happens. Seems like defenses are having it off to a better start, and offenses seem to be kind of out of sync yet to get into their rhythm here going. So, but 3 weeks in, we'll see what happens. Nobody's teams really are running away with anybody, in terms of score-wise. So no players are really like standing out as like having a crazy year so far. Look at Bean here. He's got McCaffrey, Jefferson, two of those. They're not really tearing it up yet. Fortunately for the rest of us, but it just seems like offense. All teams, a lot of teams' offenses have yet to really get things in rhythm yet. So hopefully that turns around going forward. I guess we'll finally talk about the Hillbillies. He's got Carson Wentz. He goes for 35.5. Devontae, another big name, only 14 points thanks to a touchdown, only a couple catches, not much yards. He's had quiet seasons, quiet starts for a lot of players this year. Deontay, 16.5. DJ Moore, only 2.5. 1.3 of those points came from rushing stats. Jeff Wilson, 11.5. What's this guy's name? Damian Harris, the running back from New England, goes for 12.5. Kelsey goes for 18. Drake London in the flex goes for 14.5. Hopkins, your kicker, goes for about 3.5. And the Buffalo Bills defense, benefiting from the butt punt, I believe it is called now, getting a safety, a blocked kick, all that stuff from that. They did lose the game, though. Yahoo says 10. We must have bumped you up about 12 to 22 or so. But yeah, unfortunately, said Lamar, your quarterback was pretty much the difference here. You lost by 28, and the difference there between your quarterbacks was about 26. So yeah, that was the biggest difference there, biggest factor in this matchup. So both your defenses lost, didn't do too much. Your Dub C's kicker did way better, but everywhere else it was pretty fair, evenly matched. But so Dub C had the advantage there at quarterback and kicker, getting him his second win. He jumps all the way up to second place. He's 2-1. Hillbillies on PCP drop to 1-2. They are in 9th place. All right. So hey, do you hear that? What's going on, guys? Oh, I see. Somebody's trying to join the recap here. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Let's see. Is he? Are we there? Oh, there he is. Gags. Hey, Gags is here, guys. What's going on, Gags? Hey guys. Good to see you. Thanks for having me here for the recap. Oh, hey, you're just in time. Why don't we do the recap of our matchup? Here, let's see. Let's move you over here. See if we get a better. There we go. So, Gags, you got the victory this week. Unfortunately, you were able to knock the Topes down to 0-3. Gags to Riches, you want to see the score here? Oh, yeah, guys. Yeah, I got. Oh, excuse me. I got 161.8 to the Isotopes 149. For my team, Gags to Riches, I got Kyler Murray goes for 56.5. Diggs 14.5. Waddle 15. DK 17.5. Edward CH goes for 15. Michael Carter only 5.5. It is what it is. Hawkinson 11. Curtis Samuel 13. Tyler Bass goes for 5. And New England Patriots defense goes for about exactly the right score on Yahoo, 10. Oh wow, Gags, that's pretty good. Yeah, but you said 161 was enough to get past the Topes this week. Unfortunately, like you said, it is what it is. 149. We had Mahomes only go for 39 points. T goes for 14.5. Sutton 17.5. Ayuk 13. Najee 13. AJ Dillon 6. Knox 6.5. Pollard in the flex 13.5. McManus 4.5, I think. And then the Colts defense went for about 22, I think, 22 points. This one really came down, so it was a 12-point difference here. T. Higgins, I have to say, got robbed. Did you see that beautiful catch that he had in the end zone there, the toe tap? Oh, of course I did. It was amazing. I wish T. Higgins was on my team. Yeah, well, yeah, you see how high he jumped in the air, and then he toe tapped. He definitely had his heels up in the air, toes down in the corner in the end zone. It was an amazing catch. Should have been a touchdown. That should have been about 9 points there. And then McManus, he misses a 50-yard field goal after making a field goal that was even longer than that. So instead of getting another 5 points there, I lost a point. So basically, Higgins getting robbed. Higgins has cost me two games so far. Week 1, when he got concussed against Jay, and he was out of the game, that meant more points for Tyler Boyd. And I lost by a little bit there. And now he gets that touchdown taken away this week. McManus missing a field goal is basically the reason that I lost this matchup. Could very easily be 2-1 instead of 0-3, but here we are. It is what it is. Thanks, Gags. I appreciate the reminder. So good, nice of you to join us. I don't know what made you decide to pop in here. I haven't seen you since the Pearl Jam show. Got you in there. We made our way through the lawn area there, which unfortunately was already jam-packed by the time we got in there. Yeah. We got in there, and we mingled through the crowd, you, me, and Meg, and you just kind of, Mr. Cellophane, I think they call you, you just disappeared into the crowd. Pretty much all Pearl Jam fans looked the same to me, so I blinked, and you were gone. So I just decided to take a step back and wander around and go find my 420 buddies, and Purple Haze, I think is oh yeah, that's a Jimi Hendrix song, I think. Is what you're referring to, yeah. So your 420, your green friends, it's good. Hopefully you were able to find them. Oh yeah, we had some good times. I don't even remember the Pearl Jam or any songs that they played because who cares really? It's Pearl Jam. They've been around forever. No one's cared about them for the last 25 years. So it was really, I don't know what all those people were doing there other than to get high and enjoy themselves. So you can do that for a lot less money, I think. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. A lot of people that's the camaraderie, I guess. People like to get together, and but you don't have to do it, to smoke some devil's lettuce at a concert. I mean, I guess maybe you feel the music, something like that. I mean, and kind of that's what the Grateful Dead and Fish fans do, stuff like that. So there's definitely something to it. Yeah, but it was a good time. Thanks for having me. I gotta go now because wife, much like the Pearl Jam show, when I left halfway through, the wife's calling, nagging as usual. So it is what it is. I gotta go. Thanks for having me on the podcast, on the review here, and we'll see you sometime later. All right, Gags. Thanks for stopping in, and let's see. Oh, and he's gone already. Oh, he's gone. Thanks, Gags, for stopping in here and going through the matchup here. Gags, you move up to 2-1 this week, and you're in third place. Wow, you said you dropped the Topes to 0-3, and they are in the basement in 12th place. Finally, we got Yinzer Jags versus Ed Lager. Yinzer is trying to get to 3-0, able to do it with a score of 171.9 to 158.35 for Ed. Let's see. It came down to Saquon Barkley on Monday night. Let's see. Looks like the difference ended up being about 13 points here. Saquon scored 22.5. So I think the difference was about 9 or so going into Monday night, and Barkley was able to get it. He ripped off a 30-some yard touchdown run to put the final nail in Ed Lager's coffin this week, and move himself to 3-0, said 171.9 to 158.35. And I'm just going to start here by saying what we're all thinking. Detling's team is being completely carried by Josh Allen so far. He goes for 77.7 in a game where they only scored 19 points, 42 completions, 400 yards. He's gone for 58, 62, and now 78 points so far this year. The rest of Detling's team basically has to show up and kind of do what they not even do what they should, just kind of show up, put a little bit of effort in, and Yinzer Jags have been able to get a victory so far this year. So let's take a look down the rest of Yinzer's lineup. Kind of a quiet game from Kupp. He has a rushing touchdown, 16.5 points. Gabe Davis, only 6.5. Amari Cooper actually goes for 100 yards and a touchdown, gets 23. David Montgomery, only 1.1 before getting hurt. Looks like the Bears, much to my chagrin with Mooney here, once again, they are for some reason only going to run. They're going to run their running backs into the ground so far this year. I think in 3 games, Justin Fields has like 15 completions, like 5 a game. Like I don't understand. I don't know what they are doing. But yeah, Montgomery, I don't know. He said he's already hurt. They're gonna Herbert, his backup, went off in his replacing him, but still, how long can that hold up? They're just gonna run and said run these guys into the ground. I'd be very nervous to have said either one of those guys. They're not a great team to begin with, and just the fact that they refuse to throw the ball, like to the point where it's getting kind of silly. But anyway, since Montgomery goes for 1, Saquon again 22.5, Ertz 10.5, Walker the third in the flex there 6.3, Folk your kicker goes for about 10.5, and because you play the Chargers defense at home against Jacksonville. Yahoo says 0. Their actual score -3. They gave up too much of every single thing, and not one sack, not one turnover, nothing. Instead, you actually lost 2.5 points instead of 3, thanks to Folk getting you half a point from his field goal there. So, yeah, your defense actually scored -3. Didn't cost you a victory this week. Ed Lager has Carr go for 51. Thielen, Michael Thomas, and Garrett Wilson, 18, 10, and 12. Thomas, he's been banged up. Looks like he's been in and out of the game. Games so like last week and this week. He's got a Q. Dalvin Cook's got a Q. He's banged up with a shoulder injury. I believe he went out of the game. But at least he did score a touchdown, almost 100 yards actually. 13.5 points for him. But you might be missing him for a week or two here coming up. Swift looks like he might be out for a short period, but you did trade with Gags yesterday for his backup, Jamal Williams. So you're okay there. He only went for 7.5. Higbee 10, Miles Sanders 5.5, Carlson your kicker about 10, and your Baltimore Ravens defense. Yahoo says 18. Looks like we only bumped you up to about 21 there. But yeah, let's see. Probably your guys getting hurt. You lost by 13.5 or so. So Thomas, he got hurt in the game. Cook got hurt in the game. Swift got hurt in the game. Miles Sanders didn't do too much. So yeah, this is a matchup that definitely could have gone the other way, but unfortunately, Ed Lager not quite enough this week. You dropped to 1-2. You're in 10th place. And Yinzer Jags said moves to 3-0. He is in first place. I think that should be all the matchups for this week. We did Mine, Biscuits, Darkwing, Disco, Dub C, and Yinzer Jags. All right. So, what is there to talk about to finish up here. So Disco was eliminated from the knockout pool this week, joining the Topes and Biscuits. Yeah, most of the league now 2-1 or 1-2. We got to take a quick peek at what our matchups here coming up in week 4. Topes versus Hillbillies. Let's see who's Yins or Jags. He's got Disco. Should be interesting there. Looking to go to 4-0, drop Disco to 1-3. That'll be a nice grudge match to watch. What else we got? Let's see, 2-1s. How many? We have mostly. We only have one matchup that is 2-1 teams going against each other, unfortunately, and that is Gags versus Possum. Everything else is a 2-1 versus 1-2. We got 1, 2, 3 of those. Said Hillbillies will be looking to knock the Topes to 0-4. And said we could have a lot of teams that are 1-3 after this week, so it's going to be interesting to see how things shape out. Could be standings-wise, some teams breaking away from the pack here real early instead of things getting muddled, but we'll see what happens. It's still kind of early. Last year, I was 1-4, so and still was able to make a run nearly all the way to the title. Could have been if it wasn't for that last minute loss in the last week of the season there to Justin. So I was 1-4 last year at this point. So after 5 weeks, so getting nervous, but not down and out so far yet. So we will see what happens. We're gonna have some interesting matchups here this week. I think, do bye weeks start this week? I think. Let's take a look at. Do they start? Bear with me here. Just taking a quick stroll through Yahoo since they're still on week 3. I gotta jump forward. Doesn't look. I guess nobody seems to be having bye. There must not be byes yet. Yeah, I guess not. Maybe it starts week 5. I thought they usually started in week 4, but I guess not. So, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, all 16 games this week. So, I think because there is a London game this week, Minnesota and New Orleans. So that means those teams usually have byes the week after they travel like that. So the bye weeks must start next week. But no, because I had Kirk Cousins. His bye week isn't until like 7. Yeah, Kirk Cousins' bye isn't until week 7. So they must start. Who cares? Anyway. All right, guys. I think that's it. Want to say goodbye to everybody real quick here, Alf. Sorry I picked you up by your nose. That was very rude of me. Appreciate you being here for me, my support here. Whenever I need a shoulder to cry on, you're always there for me, and you've always been there for me since I was like your size. I really appreciate that. It's been like 35 years now, so always there when I need you. Again, you're a lifesaver. Is that it? I think. Anything else to say? Yeah, so we've kind of. It's going to be interesting once these bye weeks start because there's been a lot of not like season-ending huge injuries, but a lot of teams, a lot of players are starting to get hit by the injury bug, and we'll see how things shake out once bye weeks start. And said, I don't want to see anybody's team players get hurt because it's only a matter of when the injury bug is striking, it's only a matter of time till it gets you. And so we'll see what happens. But again, like I said, even though the Topes are 0-3, I'm still not Still optimistic, and we're feeling confident that things can turn around. Kind of just been bad luck so far, like I said, with T Higgins in week 1, and then here in week 3, with basically came down to that touchdown that really should have been, and then that touchdown that should have been, and a missed field goal is what it came down to. It was a matchup that definitely could have been won. But yeah, just some bad luck so far this year. Talking to myself, trying. Yeah, the more I feel like you're probably thinking here, the more he keeps talking, the more his confidence is just a facade here. So, all right, guys, we'll see you back here after week 4 to see what happens. Hopefully, all of your players meet or exceed expectations. Nobody gets hurt, and we have a great week. And we're back here to see what happened in week number 4. All right, guys, thanks for listening, watching, or whatever it is you do. And we will be back here next week to see what happened. All right, guys, thanks, and bye.